It's Whitney, and welcome back to the Uncensored channel where I share my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on things not necessarily related to veganism. And this video, I don't know what direction it's going to go in. It's mainly just an update, a hello, because it's been a while, and I find myself being in this position pretty regularly of feeling like I owe you an apology, feeling like I need to update you on what's going on and what the delays have been. And even though a lot of this is similar to the last video where I explained this, I think things keep shifting. I'm really in this. I'm tempted to say that I'm in this interesting development stage of my life and my career, but I feel like I'm kind of always in that position, aren't we all? But there's just been a lot of new emotional, mental developments and some really big things on the horizon with my career. And I guess one thing that I've realized lately is that I can't do it all on my own. You may have seen on the main Eco Vegan Gal channel, I did 2 videos there explaining my absence from that channel. One of them was quite long and in-depth, and honestly, I don't even remember what I said in that video at this point. And then I launched my Patreon campaign, and if you haven't checked that out, you have no idea what I'm talking about yet. Patreon is a really cool platform that allows content creators like myself to get support from the community. People like you can chip in $1 a month, and that goes directly towards helping all the work that content creators like me do on YouTube and on social media and everywhere else across the web. And it's been really great. You know, I haven't done a ton of promotion on that yet, but the support that I've received has really just come from the most passionate people or the people that are actively checking my channel, and that's just been so incredible. And as a result, it's really getting me to want to dive more into all of this. But it's also had me thinking, and I guess I've been thinking a lot about just how I want to navigate my career on YouTube, and I don't know. It just had me thinking a lot. So as I was developing the Patreon campaign, I was just stepping back and thinking about everything that I do. You know, I have these 5 channels, 3 of which, including this one, are updated fairly regularly. One of which is updated every single day, the What a Vegan Eats channel. If you didn't know about that yet, I want to mention it again. I got really active on August 1st, 2015, with the daily vlogs again. And I'm a few days behind right now, but still there's new videos coming out every single day. And it's been really great for me. I've actually been editing a lot more, but I've been doing it on my iPhone, and that's just been a really wonderful way for me to get back into the flow. I've been having a hard time doing a new video on the main channel though, and I might talk a little bit about that in this video. I might even address that on that channel too, kind of for the same reasons here. And plus, I'm developing this new business that has the potential to be just superly massive, and that's really interesting because this is the first time that I'm really business focused. I started getting into business about a year ago. Between the past year to 2 years was when I stepped back and thought, I want to make this a real business. You know, for years I had this dream of making Eco Vegan Gal my full-time career, and it's taken so much work to get to that point. And even though that's what I do full time, it's still so much work. And I think that's one thing I really reflected on with Patreon, was just how much work was going into everything. And what was interesting with Patreon, I now have money coming in monthly from supporters, which is fantastic. Right now it's a pretty small amount. And I think while I'm really grateful for that, it's just also reminding me frankly, how underpaid I am with all of the work that I'm doing. And I think that's why it's been hard for me to do content. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that there's 2 things. It's one, it's I'm working so hard all day, every day, 7 days a week. Every waking hour is me putting work into this in some capacity. And so when you step back and count how many hours and how many, there's just very few breaks. There's really literally no mental break, because as an entrepreneur, as some of you might be able to relate to, you never stop working, because in your head you're always working, even if you're not actually sitting at a computer or writing or whatever else it might be. So I think that when I started developing this Patreon campaign and really stepped back, I was like, wow, I am still putting a ton of work in, and I've been putting a ton of work in for 7 years. And it's just like, okay, well, I really need to step back and look at this. And last year was when I started to get super, super serious about this. And it's just so interesting how long it takes to develop. And that's exactly why I have the Venture channel. That channel hasn't been updated in a little while either. But I've been kind of considering some new ways that I can share more insight into what I do every day, and what the workload is like and all of that, because I just don't know if a lot of people realize that. And then another huge passion of mine is helping other content creators really get things moving with themselves. And I just launched, well, almost 2 months ago now, I launched something called the Creators Community. I'll link to this down below if you're a content creator, because it came out of this massive passion of mine to help other, specifically vegan content creators, really get the work off the ground. And I wanted to support YouTubers, bloggers, Instagrammers, all the social media influencers, really develop themselves and figure out how to make this their career, as I have. And I feel like I'm kind of like maybe 5 to 7 years ahead of most of the people there, but I still have so much to learn. So you're kind of learning along with me. And that creators community has been an amazing motivation for me to keep examining this as a business. And let me just tell you, even though like for the past year or two I've been studying business so much, there's just so much to learn. Sometimes I really wish that I went to business school, maybe instead of or in addition to film school, because it's just there's so much involved. And anyways, so I'm developing this new business, and it's really exciting. Like it feels too good to be true, to be honest. And I cannot wait to share with you what it's all about. I don't know. It's really interesting. Like I kind of want to document this time in my life, because I have this deep instinct that this is going to be it. This is going to be the culmination of everything. And the more it develops, the more I see how much I want it, and how it really just feels like it's coming together in the perfect way. And it just reminds me a lot of my journey. And that's something that I've been thinking a lot about too, in all this time off. Again, it's never time off, but time off from YouTube, I suppose. I'm really focused on just being my authentic self and presenting that on camera and helping other people experience that in their own lives. So whether you're a content creator or whether you're just a viewer who's coming to me for inspiration and motivation, I mean, that's really why I'm here. And sharing these journeys along the way is my greatest joy. And so that's what I mean by the authentic self, is like I've kind of taken this step back over the past few months to think about like, who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? What do I really want to say? And stripping away the ego sides of this desire to be successful, I suppose. I've always been really kind of caught up in that. And that also ties into this business journey here, is that I just have this desire to be successful. I always have. And I think that's a natural human instinct, and success can mean a lot of different things to us. But for me, it's like I want financial success. I want to have a nice home. I want to travel regularly. I don't want to feel stressed about money. I don't want to have to think about the cost of things quite as much. That's been a huge goal of mine for years. So I don't have a specific dollar amount that I want, at least not yet. But, financial success is just important. And when you think of financial success, there's so much tied into that. And what's been really helpful for me, stepping away a lot, examining myself, doing some reading, doing some meditating, just like all the mental work that I've been doing off of YouTube. I've been thinking a lot about this idea of authenticity and how that often conflicts with fame and success. And right now we're in a really interesting stage, like a place society-wise with social media, where there's a lot of pressure to be famous and to be successful and to be liked, literally liked, there's a lot of emphasis placed on the people that have a certain amount of followers, subscribers, likes, all of this stuff. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. And there's a part of me that reacts to that really negatively and uncomfortably, because I think it reminds me of probably some wounds of the popular kids in school, for example, right? I mean, it's not that different when you look at it, where you see these people who are doing so well on, like, let's just say Instagram, and they look perfect in every photo, or every photo they take is perfectly done, you know, whether it's the lighting or the design or the angle or the lens, whatever else it is, like, it's just perfect. And then you see like everything they're doing right, and they're gaining all these followers, and then they're featured in articles, and then brands are giving them money, and like all this stuff is happening. And it's so easy to get caught up in that and wish that you have that too. And this can happen on all the different social platforms. I experience this mostly on YouTube, but I've also started to experience this, you know, to an extent on Instagram, because Instagram is like so emphasized right now. And I find myself tensing up a lot because, you know, I have this habit of not feeling good enough, and this habit of feeling like other people are better than me. And that's something that I'm really trying to put an end to, or to really reduce in myself. But it's just so tempting to fall into that trap. And I know you can understand, because if you're on social media, you must feel that. You know, I was talking to my sister today, and she was explaining how, like, on Facebook, how she feels a sense of failure. She posts something and she doesn't get like 20 likes instantly, right? And it's so interesting how now we equate success with that type of feedback. And what happens is we oftentimes end up manipulating ourselves, or changing, and doing what we think is necessary for success. And I really realized lately that I don't want to do that. I really just want to be myself and be loved for who I am, and appreciated and respected for who I am. That to me is so much important, to just live authentically and not try to change myself. And I've done that a lot. I think a lot of people experiment with changing themselves throughout their lives, and it just doesn't really feel good. I used to do that for men, for instance. Like, I remember there was one specific guy who I changed so much for. And honestly, I changed in some really fantastic ways, but there are if I really sat down and like went through a list of like all the different things I tried to do in order to get him to like me, ultimately, he liked me before I even changed. He just didn't really want to admit it. And B, I don't think he liked me more when I tried to change to be who I thought he wanted me to be. And then all of those layers kind of stripped away, except for some core things. If I tell you the core things, then anyway, I'm not going to get into those things today in this video, but there definitely was some good that came out of it. And I think can be a lot of good that comes out of trying to fit into some sort of mold to an extent, as long as your authentic self still shines through and is there. And that's something that I've just been noticing a lot, you know. I definitely have become better on YouTube, for example. I definitely take better Instagram photos now. There's definitely been those shifts there, but the key is to get improved, an improvement on yourself, not changing, not pretending to be something that you're not. Also, not trying to cheat the system. I see a lot of people that are very strategic, and I'm a massively strategic person. I love strategizing and planning. And so it's very easy for me to think, all right, maybe if I do this, this, and that, then I'll get this certain amount of success and all of that. But the funny thing is I've tried some strategies and they haven't really worked. And part of me feels like it's like some energetic thing saying, you're only doing this for success. You're not doing this for authenticity. Does that make sense? I mean, that is really like the core of what I've been thinking about a lot. And I think that's why I haven't been like churning out the videos on these other channels quite as frequently, because I want to make sure that I'm doing them for the right reason. It's very tempting for me to feel like if I do X amount of videos on YouTube and I use the right titles and thumbnails, then people will watch and subscribe, and then I'll get more money and more fame, blah, 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 blah. And there's a lot of pressure. I mean, that to me has been really challenging. I had applied for a sponsorship for a relatively small amount of money, but I guess relative can be so many different things. It wasn't that much, but it also wasn't that little, let's put it that way. And I applied in a place where this company was looking to sponsor people, so there was a very good chance that I could make this happen. That's a whole other story. I mean, the sponsorship side of the stuff I do. And that's exactly why that venture channel is there, and I need to get back into all of that. But anyways, so I applied for this sponsorship with this brand, and they wrote me this interesting email saying that they couldn't accept my proposal because I didn't have enough views per video. And they kind of went on this whole tangent about what it would take to get my views up, or how they could help me, or what, and I felt like I've been working at this for 7 years. I put so much heart into everything that I do, and so much just thought into all of it. And this brand is coming at me like I'm just some newbie, like some 14-year-old girl that got on YouTube yesterday and doesn't know what she's doing. And it struck me in that way because I just felt like, wow, like you're only willing to invest in me if I fit into some sort of mold. And there's part of me that really gets it, because for a brand, and I'm going to keep this short, and because I could talk about this subject matter for a while. I will do a video on this for the venture channel at some point. But what I want to say here is that I get it. Like, I get why numbers matter, but numbers aren't always the truth, is the point here. Numbers don't always reflect authenticity and reality. And we're in this interesting time where people just, when they see high numbers, there's like, oh, wow, that person must be important. But there's so many layers on there. And when the people that are kind of cheating their way to the top, faking it, you can buy likes, you can buy views, you can buy all these other things, or you manipulate it in a certain way to get there really fast. And it's so sad that the people that are, oftentimes people that are very authentic and are doing it for deeper reasons, are not quite as acknowledged. And that's just something I've been thinking a lot about recently, and exactly why I started Patreon, because there's a huge part of me that just doesn't want to play this game trying to get some brand to give me money so I can support myself and the work that I do. I'd much rather receive a small amount of support from a large amount of people on Patreon. And anyways, I'll link to the Patreon too if you want to check that out, and the video where I talk more about that, because the money from there is definitely going to go towards all my channels, including this one. And once it really starts rolling, I'll be able to do so much more. That wasn't really the whole point of this video. It's just filling you in on things. The business, though, I feel like I'm like in a new relationship with this business, which is really exciting. And it's kind of like very similar, because I don't want to say what it is yet. Almost like I don't want to say the name of the guy I'm dating. Like, that's how I feel about this business. Is it's like, it feels too good to be true, and I feel like this could be forever. And like that is just, it's just that exciting, like when you enter into a new relationship that's so great and it lights you up and you feel like you're going to spend the rest of your life on. That's exactly how I feel about this. And I've never felt this way before, literally. But like, just like you would say in a relationship, I honestly haven't. And, again, it's like a relationship where you spend your life dreaming of what you want in the future, and you don't know exactly what this person's going to look like or what they're going to do for a job or all these things. Like for me, I've just had all these dreams throughout my life, and there was like this fuzzy vision of how it was all going to come together. And this business was the first time that it felt like, wow, I didn't really think that I would be doing this, but it feels really good. And the great thing is that it's all tied into everything that I've been doing here on YouTube in a major, major way. And I can't wait to tell you about it. So, it's interesting with that is it's not taking that much time yet. And it'll definitely allow me to or I'll feel very encouraged to keep up all the work on YouTube as a result of it. So yeah, I'm not gonna have to bother trying to convince these sponsors to give me a small amount of money anymore after this, at least not in quite the same ways. So I'll clue you in more on that as it develops. What else? Well, the creators community, Patreon, and this business are my top 3 priorities right now. And Patreon's really cool because since it's all tied into everything, in order for me to sustain Patreon and also to really give it the value, I need to keep updating these channels. And so it just all ties in. And I feel like I'm in a really cool, solid place in my life, which feels really, really good. But I also feel like I'm in a lot of development. You know, the business is a major development right now. Patreon's in development, and the creators community, you know, even though it's already launched, it still has so much to go, and it's growing. I could talk a lot about the creators community, but it really touches my heart a lot. And working with other content creators is such a dream because I just want to give everybody all the support I possibly can. And I just want to see people really succeed. So, yeah, I feel really, really happy. And, you know, the struggle with me in creating videos here is that sometimes I feel overwhelmed with all the other stuff that I'm working on. But it's really not that hard for me to sit down and talk for, it's been 21 minutes now. This is easy because I feel like I'm talking to a friend. You guys are my friends, and I feel like I'm giving you like an update. In fact, I just met up with a friend last night, and we hadn't seen each other, and we don't even remember the last time we saw each other. It was probably at least a year, and we just picked right off where we left off, and it was amazing. And I feel that same way with you. I really want to be consistent and get back into the weekly video schedule that I was on before, and I'm really working towards that. One thing that would really help me though is just you continuing giving requests, whether you have questions for me about my personal life or these different aspects of my business as I've been talking about. But I also love giving advice. To me, I look at this channel as a place to just talk to you as if I were that friend that you go to when you're having a rough time. And I really hope that you see me as that, because I want to be there to comfort you and support you. And I really am there energetically. And when you send in these requests for me to speak on something from my heart, it's really a beautiful thing. And you also help other people too, which is the most incredible part about YouTube. Is I'll create a video for your question, but you never know who else it's going to reach. And yeah, that's one of the most magical things about YouTube. It's like when I did that herpes of the eye video, which actually I have a little update on for you, by the way, but that I had no idea that other people were going to appreciate that video, but people come out of the woodwork all the time and email me, and they're so grateful for those videos because barely anybody else is talking about it. So you never know, is my point. I went to the eye doctor today, and the cool thing is that similar to some of my other health challenges, I kind of had been misled for a huge part of my life. Basically, my eye prescription and my fuzziness in my eye were, as far as I know, tied into allergic reaction to contact lenses that I was wearing, and probably related to food too and my food sensitivities. So a combination of me not wearing contacts for months and months and me really focusing in on my diet, my contact lens prescription went way down. It's like what it was when I first got, almost as low as when I first got contact lenses, like 16, 17 years ago. It's crazy. And all of these years, my prescription just kept going up and up and up. And I remember feeling like I was turning into this old lady. And simply by changing my diet and switching to a better pair of type of contacts and wearing contacts less, it's changed my eyes so much. And so far, there's no sign of that herpes of the eye. And maybe that's not even what it was. You know, that was the interesting thing. I went to one doctor and he said that's what it was. And then I went to another and he was kind of on the fence about it. And then the person I saw today, like, didn't really have much to say about that. So I don't know. I guess I just wanted to give you a little update on that because I just went to the eye doctor, and I'm really excited that I was able to kind of naturally heal my eyes by giving them a break and really focusing on inflammation throughout my whole body. So I just would love to hear from you in the comments. And also, I'm going to set up a little form for you down below to send in requests for videos, because sometimes I get a little scared to read the comments. I'm still very sensitive to them. Most of them on this channel are good, so I'll probably read them, and I haven't read them in a while, so I actually need to look in on those. But B, when you send them to me via email or you write a suggestion in the comments, sometimes they get lost. So from now on, if you can use the form, send in your comment there. I'll receive it. It goes right into my Google Drive, and I'll be able to keep better track of it and make sure that those requests are handled as soon as possible. Thank you so much. It feels really good to check in with you. I've missed you, and I can't wait to just get back on track here. Definitely check out the What a Vegan Eats channel, because even though it's about food, you'll get a very intimate look into my life every single day. And stay tuned for what's happening on the main channel and the Venture channel. I've got the link to the creators community down below. I'll link to the Patreon campaign if you want to chip in anything there. And I will keep you posted on the business as it develops. I'm so excited. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.